exercise is a great way to help translate spine movement into an upright position. A lot of us will train our spine segmentation and spine work in hands and knees, but once we're upright, we have to battle our hip flexors. And so if you're somebody who is trying to stretch your hip flexors and you're struggling with it, or you feel like you just don't feel like your spine work carries over to an upright position, this is going to be a great exercise for you. You're going to want to find a flat band. The flatter, the better. Rounder's just going to move. And then we're going to do this on each leg. So you want to put one leg down. And now from here, you're going to find the lowest spot on your spine. You can do this in multiple spots, but I find that focusing on the lowest is most people's hardest position. So that's what we're going to focus on. And then you're going to find some tension in the band. So you don't need to like really squeeze, but we do want to have a little bit of tension so you can feel it in your back. Then from here, we're going to have a heavy tailbone, and then we're going to think about tucking our belt buckle up to our nose and pressing into the band. You should feel an increased stretch in the front of your leg and pressure into the band, and then you're going to reverse that and take pressure off the band and dump the pelvis forwards, and then reverse it, press the pelvis in the back into the band, come back up, and then dump it. Now, it sounds easy in theory. You're watching me do it and it seems easy in theory. I've done this hundreds or thousands of times. So, a couple things to keep in mind. As we're doing this, we do not want to crunch down. I want your height to remain the same. Like if there was something you needed to keep your head on, it is going to stay there. It is not going to drop away. Number two, we do not want to squeeze and really try too hard and really squeeze the butt. We want to, because sometimes we end up shifting back. We want to stay in our position. The thing we're working on is just your pelvis moving on your femur here, okay? Now, if this position's uncomfortable or you feel it's hard for your other leg, you can kind of bring it out a little bit more forwards, or just elevate this leg on a yoga block a little bit more. Now, if as you're doing that, you don't feel hip flexor stretch, you might just not have the strength to find it. So here, you might just not have your abs, which is what we should feel, pulling us up and pushing into the band. It might not be strong enough. So for some people, we can go and progress this further by trying to do this in a harder position. Now your hip flexors are even more lengthened and your abs have to be even stronger to pull against them. So that would be a progressed version. And what we can do for most people is we start here, find your lowest point, press into the band, press away. Then we move into press into the band, hold, press more and more into the band. That's where we're just squeezing, like the muscles that are pressing into the band, pressing our backs into the band. We're just turning that volume dial up on the intensity. That is going to be the best place for most people to start. Then from there, we can work on that and maintaining that as we lean forwards and then coming out and resetting. And then the most progress is going to be come forwards. Now try to press into the band from there. But again, we have to work on all those other steps first. So you would do all of that on this leg, and then we would switch which leg is on the ground, because now you're going to work on the opposite leg hip flexors. And don't be surprised if it's easier or harder on one side, because we are asymmetrical beings, and that's just how we are. If you do know you have one side that is very much more challenging, I would start with that side, and whatever you do on that side, just match it with the other side so the intensity is matched for the weaker side. Over time, you should feel that it kind of catches up in strength a little bit and mobility. So that is going to be how you can work on lower back mobility, a little bit more hip flexor mobility, and a little bit of lower ab work, because that's what you should feel working on bringing your pelvis up. We really want to make sure that you are thinking about this, not just trying to squeeze everything. The harder you try, the more likely you are to recruit other muscles to do the job. But if you really go very subtly and light at first, then you will build those connections over time that we can add intensity later. So I hope that is helpful and that you are able to implement that. And don't forget over time to make sure you're progressing it.